Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Comic Game Movie Show.
And today,
this is going to be a
12 years in the making.
Spoiler field, so it's going to be up top. This is going to be completely spoiler. We are not holding back. This is the second time I've seen the movie, and this is the second time and the first time Steph's seen the movie. You know what we're talking about, people.
10 out of
10. You know what we're talking about, people. Avengers EndGame.
Oh, man, I'm sad.
This movie was an epic.
Yes, it was.
It was an epic.
Yes, it was.
But what made it different than any other epic is that there's so much history going into it.
Yeah. A lot of history, a lot of bonds, a lot of chemistry.
There's so much history, so much time. I watched Iron Man 1 came out in 2008.
Same year The Dark Knight came out.
I was a very young kid, 2008.
We were in middle school.
We were in middle school. I was raised up on the MCU. I've been watching these movies my entire life. I remember seeing the first Avengers movie, and I probably told this story before on here, but I remember that movie kind of changing. Like, I'm not going to exaggerate and say changed my life or anything, but it changed a lot for me because growing up, it was kind of a shunt. Like, we still grew up in a time where it was not cool to be nerds.
Or at least not the kind of nerds we were.
Not like openly. Like
you could still watch movies, you could still do that kind of shit, but it wasn't like you couldn't, like, if you said you were like comics.
Sorry.
That kind of was. I thought the door was open. I was like, what? Like comics, D&D, video games on the to a degree.
Video games seemed like they were okay as long as you didn't play.
As long as you played Madden and Call of Duty, you were okay.
Or as long as you didn't play them too much.
Yeah.
But comic book movies weren't taken, like, other than The Dark Knight, if you had to be dark and gritty to be taken seriously. And then here comes this MCU movie that is colorful, that is fun, that is a comic book movie, and people liked comics again. People who don't read comics asking comic book people, "What's this? I like this. Is this got source material? I want to read this source material." And the MCU birthed that, and to see what it's become now. And all leading to this movie.
Yeah, the MCU started in mainstream. I'd argue Lord of the Rings started that a little bit.
Well, yeah, fantasy.
Fantasy, yeah. But this one definitely started for comic books. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. But, God, like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to come off right here and fucking say it. I've seen every Marvel movie since the Hulk, Incredible Hulk, 2007.
Yeah, same.
And, like I said, I've had my criticisms.
Ups and downs, but there were way more ups than there were downs. It's like the perfect marriage. You get annoyed every now and again, but man, Dan, that's the best wife you're ever gonna get. Shit, Marvel's the best freaking wife ever. Like that.
Yeah. So, and I'm really sad to see it go, but I'm gonna get into this a little bit later. But I'm just gonna say it now to kind of keep it fresh on the mind. I'm upset that that's come to an end, but I'm also excited for where it's gonna go. But I'm also sad that this is what DC could have been. But it wasn't.
They rushed it. They wanted.
They wanted the success, the fame.
They wanted to have. They wanted to have EndGame like
immediately.
Like they wanted to have like EndGame level shit happen like immediately.
Yeah, they wanted to fly before they learned how to walk. It's like they wanted to become a pilot when they were still toddlers. It was
the thing is, they thought that if they could just do it because they're DC and
the arrogance was
their own arrogance kind of got them. And the thing is,
just like a lot of other villains we know.
The thing is, DC's done some okay things. Now, I didn't hate Aquaman. I didn't think it was particularly that good of a movie, but I thought it was an okay movie.
Shazam
was a very good movie. I had a lot of fun with Shazam, but as good as Shazam was,
every other DC movie before Aquaman was really like just
I know people screaming Wonder Woman, but you know how we feel about that.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is one of those, like, if you really sit back and you look at it, it's pretty trash. It's actually pretty trash when you sit back and look at it rather than just looking at it for what it is. Shazam, but I've always said this, DC is literally the definition of a blind squirrel does find a nut every once in a while. And I'm sad because I'll never get to see the Darkest Night movie. I'll never get to see the Anti-Monitors invasion of our dimension. I'll never get to see any of that. Any of that cosmic shit. I'll never get to see the move about the Manhunters extermination across the galaxy.
And the thing is, it's so difficult for DC to do it, especially now, because we're going to start getting into EndGame in a second, but what happens in EndGame the final battle. We're full spoilers, so the final battle of this movie is something out of a comic book.
Yeah,
it is
epic.
It is the most. It's one of the most epic things I've ever seen in my
life.
life.
Badass fights. It's one of the most badass. It is.
I've never seen anything like it before.
This makes my top 5 battles because 2 of those spots are in Lord of the Rings. Because you can't top some of those battles in Lord of the Rings. But this one literally just went poop. And I'm just like, literally, it's like number 3 battle for me.
It is,
but
it's on a scale you never even dreamed is possible, and the way it's done, it's a comic book page come to life. It's an epic.
Yeah,
man.
it is so like and it has that whole setting of all hope is lost, but yet Cap just won't give up. He's standing against an army. And then all comes to the rescue. It's like freaking like Rohan riding to Gondor's aid. That's what I haven't felt this excited for a battle since Return of the King. I haven't felt that for years. So
but, let's get into the movie. Like the movie
does start after Infinity War. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, actually, the movie starts with Hawkeye.
Yeah, losing his family.
Losing his family, and that was a sad scene. You knew it was coming because you kind of had a feeling about that, but like it was still a sad scene seeing him, lose his family like that, and him being just wandering around, just wondering what the fuck happened.
People, man.
You see Tony in outer space bonding with Nebula, but he's like weak and he's obviously been starving. They did a good job with the CGI of making him look like he's just skinny and
he's holding on by a slim thread, and then Captain Marvel saves him. And you know what? I'm not even going to talk about the bullshit on Captain Marvel. Let's talk about the movie. I'm not even going to talk about it. So Captain Marvel saves him, brings him back to Earth. He has this meltdown that and Deshaun to go to the bathroom. But since he's seen it, he already knows. It was like that meltdown, and I was like, damn, dude, like that's so Tony right there.
He's just like, and it's like he failed, and he just doesn't know how to hate. He's like, I wanted to put a suit armor around the world. That's what I said. But no, nobody wanted to do my way. Oh, because of our precious freedoms, and he's like, you lied to me, basically.
All that, yeah.
Fuck you, basically.
And then they track down Thanos. They did the farm thing. He's on a farm, and he's living his life, and the Infinity Gauntlet's, fused to him, He
used it to... And go figure, Thanos destroyed the Infinity Stones.
And almost killed him, but that's how... Man, dude, Thanos just proved so many times how powerful he is. He used his own gauntlet and the own power of the Infinity Stones to destroy themselves, and he used it, it almost cost him. So he's been working this farm wounded for that long. I'm like, damn, dude. It's like that's.
Well, he did it. Well, he said the signature went off 2 days ago. So he was on the farm. He was farming for 4 years, fine, and then until he had an epitome. I gotta get rid of these things, man. It's just gonna bring people here. Or
yeah, pretty much. And then comes
Thor chops his fucking head off.
Yeah, he takes his revenge, but the revenge is sour. No, the revenge.
It's not what you thought it would be.
It's not, or it didn't bring him the peace he wanted. But we're gonna get into Thor a little bit later. So anyway, after that, 5 years pass on Earth. 5 whole years. It looks like life's still going on, but
it's just kind of hectic.
It's dark. I mean, New York City was just bleak.
Yeah, the
clouds were hanging super low. There were no lights on in the city, or if there were few, and it was and Captain America's trying to provide emotional support.
Yeah,
for
as
people,
he would do in a time like this.
As he would do, because he is a very strong, stoic guy. Black Widow tries to make some sense of it by talking to Captain Marvel and all them. But
yeah, they're it seems like they're like not a world council, but they're just
trying to help.
They're trying to do anything they can, and Black Widow is the head of whatever's going on.
So she's doing whatever she can, and she's they're all coping in their own way. It's like if someone some really close maybe family died.
Yeah.
And basically, and they're all just trying to do what they can to move on from it. And they all have their own ways of coping. This is
what happens when heroes fail.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only movie I can remember where you get to see, even though they bring them back, even though they in the end you kind of know what happens, you get to see what happens when heroes fail, how they deal with it.
Yeah.
Because you never really get to see that. You never get to see it from that perspective of what happens when you don't save the day.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? Do you have to go cope with that?
Pretty much.
You got to live with that.
Or it's that valuable lesson too of Marvel just said you can't save everyone, but then they kind of semi-retcon it with the time shit. But we're gonna
even then they can't.
They didn't fix everything. There were still some sacrifices that they had to make. And that was really, really cool because it wasn't going to be at the end, everyone comes back and we're all happy. It's like, no.
It came with a cost.
It came at a cost. And, man, that cost hurt them and the audiences. So, what else? I'm trying to think.
Clint Barton, Hawkeye, is gone off the deep end after losing his family.
He is turned full on.
Ronin.
Well, he's gone full on like Red Hood.
Pretty much.
He's gone full Red Hood. I mean,
he is going around like I remember goddamn Rhodey mentions it to Black Widow. He's like a whole cartel have been like just murdered, slaughtered. Like bodies all like a slaughterhouse in here, just bodies all over the place. And
because Clint can't deal with it. Because he can't deal with losing his family.
Well, like
his family was his anchor. I think he even said that. His family was his anchor, and without them, he had nothing.
And like he said, when he's fighting the Yakuza, because like the Yakuza guy starts talking to him, and they're talking in Japanese, but they put subtitles up there. It happens a little fast, so you might not catch it. But like Yakuza guy was just like, why are you coming after me? I didn't do anything to you. He's like, well, the snap took away a lot of good people, except you. Thanos got them. You get me.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, he's gone full, and then obviously, like Black Widow comes to his aid. They bring him back, and then and then Scott Lang shows up.
He escapes from the quantum realm.
He escapes from the quantum realm because of an accident, because of a rat.
He comes shooting out the back end.
Cassie has grown up. She's now a teenager.
Yes, 5 years later.
And that kind of hurt. That kind of made me choke. I was like, oh, because he never got to see his daughter grow up.
He just saw her so big.
You're so big.
Could you imagine that? Just being like, last time I saw you, you were like
10. Now you're like now you're 15.
Yeah, you're 15.
So it's like holy shit. So trying to think. So he goes to to see Captain America and all them and says, I'm in like the quantum realm is this time thing.
Yeah,
it's
for him it was only 5 hours down there.
Yeah.
It wasn't 5 years.
That's why he was so hungry. He's like, is that someone's sandwich? He's still Scott Lang, the guy. Paul Rudd, still funny.
Funny
as Ant-Man, and no one knows him. Bruce Banner has fused with Worldbreaker Hulk, kind of.
Well, no, he's more like smart Hulk. Well, the thing is, and it's a subtle line, and I didn't catch it the first time until the second time I saw it. He says that he spent 18 months in a gamma lab working on fusing the Hulk and him together.
Yep. And it worked.
And it worked. And now he's the Hulk Banner.
Hulk Banner.
He's taking picture with kids, and there's a funny line with
where they
he wants to take. I'm Ant-Man.
And then when he tries, like, no, someone's taking a picture of that. Man, come on.
No, he doesn't want to do that. He really doesn't want to do that.
Take the goddamn phone. But so yeah, the comedy's still there, guys, and I can already hear the people nagging about that. We're not going to talk about that, but basically, they end up figuring out. Tony comes through. By the way, Tony has a daughter.
Tony has a daughter, yeah. And that's why Tony is very hesitant. Yeah, he's Morgan, which is out of the comics, but it's his brother in the comics. But he's very hesitant to get on board with this time thing.
You know what's and then the ironic thing is Tony got off a little worse for wear out of it because
he still has Pepper.
He still had Pepper, so it was like
and now he's got a daughter. So
now he's got a daughter, so now it's like he moved on. He even says like I moved on from this. And then
he looks at that picture of Peter.
And then it just hits him because he knows he lost Peter, and so now he's driven to hell. But that's Tony's character. He's driven very much so by his emotions. All he wants
to do is protect people. Mm-hmm. All he wants to do, and it's like it hurts him, but all he wants to do is protect people.
Pretty much, he was even though he like first Iron Man didn't show it. He was born a hero.
Yeah.
Even though the first Iron Man you wouldn't see that, but now he has grown since then.
He has grown a lot.
So now the Avengers' grand plan is to find all of the Infinity Stones, build a new gauntlet or a gauntlet that could contain their power, and bring them back to the present before Thanos can get to them, and simply just reverse everything. That happened.
Well, see, the thing is, time travel works different in this movie than in most other movies because they make it clear up top. They even insult basically every
insult
time.
Back to the Future. They insult Star Trek.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine. I'm just like
they're like basically in this world, which some people are confused by. So I'm gonna take this chance to just kind of explain it because I know some people got a little confused by it. They can't change what has already happened in their reality. Mm-hmm. It's 5 years later. All they
can do is go back in time and gather the resource they need
and bring the people who died back. But you bring them back to this time. You don't reverse time.
Yeah. And
if you do something in that timeline, it doesn't erase anything. So a couple people well, wouldn't that happen?
They do keep that one thing from Back to the Future where they're branching.
There's branches
because the ancient one,
but you're not affecting your timeline. Like, so, spoiler alert, Nebula kills a version of herself from 2013.
Yeah.
That doesn't just kill her. She already lived through
it, so therefore she's not going to kill herself.
There's just a timeline where Nebula Thanos and Thanos didn't exist.
I'm sure the whole, butterfly effect where, if your parents don't meet, you might fade away. That whole shit. But,
actually, I don't even know if that's a thing, because that's just a different timeline. It's just a different time. You already...
They kind of Rick and Morty
You already were born, so you can't just not be born. You were already born.
So anyway, and they explained it pretty well because it's just like I think they knew going in there. Man, there's gonna be so many people like Back to the Future. Like, well, I thought if you killed yourself back then, you wouldn't live through. It's like time isn't as linear as you think it is. Which is like that kind of Rick and Morty did. Like every action, every instance will create a new timeline. Will create a new event, a new.
It's like your timeline isn't different. Your timeline is just the same. All they did was bring something from a different timeline. It's like it's still an object. The Infinity Stones still work the same.
It's just they're not. Just that they got them a little earlier than they thought they would in order to reverse it. And then events transpire. They go back to the first Avengers, which is kind of cool to see. They go
Thor
Steve
Ragnarok. Thor: The Dark World. They go back to Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, they go back to Thor: The Dark World. Oh yeah, by the way, we'll get into the individual characters and what happens to them, but we're just going through the main plot right now. They go to Thor: The Dark World, all these, and then they do gather the Infinity Stones, but unfortunately, and they go back to the first Guardians.
Yeah, they go back to the first Guardians.
And Thanos
back to Volmir. Yeah, Volmir.
Yeah, and they do find out. And Thanos does find out, or he figures out what they're doing, because Nebula, even though Nebula is two different Nebulas, she's still technically the same robot.
And she's hooked up to the same
system.
So like the system.
That's why that's how I was able to find out, was because the fact they're connected in that way. That's how I was able to find out, because for the longest haul, they look like they're about ready to win. They look like they're about ready to just
they look like this is about to be completely scot-free.
But they do set it up. It's not like it hits you out of nowhere. They do set it up like, Thanos is onto them, and he is following close suit. And, obviously old evil Nebula wants to please her daddy no matter what. Mm-hmm. New Nebula doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. But he did. I guess she's dead.
And this is Gamora just before she went off and, decided to turn coat. Yeah. Which is why it took her a little bit of time, because, this is her right before he sent her off to
she was still with him. She was still with Thanos. And, but like Deshaun, she was just at that cusp of like, man, should I stick with them? Should I not stick with them? This is bullshit.
Yeah, this is around the time when the seeds were already starting to be planted in her mind. She was gonna leave.
By the way, funny thing later on is that Peter Quill comes back and he sees her and he's all happy, and then he touches her face, and then he and she kicks him in the nuts, and he's like, really him? And I'm just like, damn, I know how that feels, but
it was him or a tree.
I know, right? It was him or a tree.
Aww.
Just like, I just felt bad. I was like, no one else laughed.
It's not a different one. It's not a different one. It's like, yeah, that's a different Gamora. Gamora from a different time. This is before she knew you, man.
And then though he does look at her picture, because it's like
she escaped. Like this, a lot of people aren't talking about this. Gamora is out there. Mm-hmm. It's a different Gamora, but it's Gamora. It's Gamora. It's just a different Gamora. She's out there somewhere.
Yeah. So anyway, during the hunt for the stones, Steve goes back in time, and they end up meeting Howard Stark. He sees Peggy back in the 70s when she was a little bit younger.
By the way, you get to see all this stuff from a different perspective. You get to see the movies from a different perspective.
Yep.
You got to see
from the hero's perspective.
Just from a different perspective. Because when you saw the iconic shot of the Avengers standing over Loki and Loki being like, I can take that drink now, and then it cuts. But you get to see what happened after. You get to see him put the Tesseract away. You get to see Rumlow and the dudes from Winter Soldier show up.
Crossbones.
And you get to see Cap get in that elevator.
And they're all nervous.
Hell, Hydra.
And it worked.
Okay. That was great. Because, by the way, that's a shot for shot from Winter Soldier. When he got in that elevator in Winter Soldier, it's the same exact people were in that elevator. Same exact people, except Sitwell, but same exact people were in that elevator. They even framed it the same. He was standing behind the same dude. That's why I was like, this is funny, man. I was like, are they about to do it? I was waiting for him to go, before we begin, does anyone want to get out? Because that's what he said in Winter Soldier. I was like, is he about to say that? And then he's just like, Hell Hydra. It kind of shows the growth of Cap. That Captain Winter Soldier would have just fought himself out of it.
He's just like, no, I can't afford to do that.
No, I'm going to just take myself out of it.
Yeah.
Till he had to fight himself.
Till he had to fight himself, which he beat himself.
Using his weaknesses against himself. I can do this all day. I know.
Bucky's alive. What? Poof!
That shit, I gotta lie, that shit killed me when I first heard it.
But there is the first but we're going to spoil this. The first real big death is Black Widow.
And you didn't know what it was going to be for a while there.
And
you didn't know who was going to die.
You see Red Skull again. He tells them what they have to do to find and get the Soul Stone. And Clint wants to kill himself because he's so fucked up from his family. But Scarlet wants to kill people. And I've killed so many people. And then they literally have this tug of war. It was kind of dark, funny. because I was laughing, but I was like, and I was like, they're fighting to have to kill themselves.
I love that. These are two skilled people who love each other, who both want to make a sacrifice. It makes sense to me
for them.
They both want to make this self-sacrifice. It's not that they don't. It's because I know I could see somebody going, man, they're idiots. So why don't you just jump and just get this over with? I'm like, no, they love each other.
They don't want to see each other dead. That's kind of the whole point.
And that's why they're fighting to not.
But Scarlet does end up being the one who hits the ground, and it is that choked me up. That choked me up because I loved Black Widow the whole time. I think she was a great character, and I did feel a little bit of like, oh,
he's just dying. And dude, there's a great line where like Thor's like, no, we can just bring her back. We got the stones. We can do. And Jeremy Renner did a great job acting this. He's like, well, that's what he told me. You fly out there and he acted like a man he's just furious. Like, you go and ask him then. Like it was. That was a lot.
And Bruce was upset too because he still had a little bit of that.
He still had feelings for
her, and so it was that was the first.
And Cap when Tony going, did she have any family? We were her family.
And I was like, so. Yeah, that was the first big death. So basically, they get all the stones. It looks like it's about ready to go down and be fine, but then Nebula ends up being the wrong Nebula.
Well, first of all, we're skipping some key points. The Hulk puts on the glove because the glove gives off a lot of gamma.
I wasn't going to get to that yet.
But
I'm about ready to get to that.
But Nebula showing up happened after that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Hulk puts on the glove, or Banner Hulk puts on the glove because he says it filled with gamma. So
he said most of the energy it's giving off is gamma.
So it's like that's perfect for me, and it's hurting him. He's just like it's just running through him, and he can't like comprehend it. He can't like control it. That's another thing they kept from the comics. Only Thanos can use the damn thing.
I mean, people can use it, but only Thanos can use it without fucking dying.
So that just tells you something. But so Banner does, he's in pain. Oh my god, like what do we do? And then he just brings everyone back. But it fucks him up. But he survives.
You don't know it yet because it takes a second, and then Hawkeye gets a call on his phone and whatnot.
Yeah, everyone comes back at the same time period, the 5 years later point. But it's at the 5 years
later point. It happened
point.
basically because the way Peter talked, it happened right after they all were about to vanish. So basically, he brought them back right
at the point.
At the point, so
they don't know how much time.
Well, because Spider-Man comes, like he's like, "Oh, I was taking, I was all, I was, I woke up, I was on the ground, I was all flaky."
Because he's happy to see him back. But and then Hulk, Bruce, and then I guess then Nebula shows up, brings her father's ship.
Well, he just demolishes
that thing, and I'm just sitting there going like, "Wow, damn!" Like
overkill
much. And then they have this like mini tit for tat fight, and then. Holy mother of God.
Dual-wielding Thor?
Dual-wielding Stormbreaker and Mjolnir.
At the same time.
Do you remember that scene where he just got angry and summoned all the storm clouds? And then changed into like Odin Thor kind of look?
I was like, oh shit.
I was like shaking the shot like, that was fucking cool.
I know, Seth was fucking hyped.
I was nerdgasming.
He was I was nerdgasming. If he was nerdgasming, I was definitely
that was incredible. And then they had that tit for tat fight. Then Captain America, I guess they do that too from the comics too. It's like he has that fight against Thanos 1-on-1, but he's getting his ass kicked. His shield's broken in half. Even though he can wield Mjolnir, it's not real. It's helping, but it's not helping.
By the way, that's a big. By the way, you casually said that.
Oh yeah, America picks up Mjolnir,
and Thor
just goes, "I knew it."
And
that harkens back to the first Avenger when he just went.
Harkens back to Age of Ultron when he wiggled it on the table.
Yeah.
And Thor was like, Thor looked kind of concerned,
or he looked like interested. He was like, "Huh,
like what?" Yeah, man.
That
was epic. And he was throwing the shield, throwing the hammer, bouncing the hammer off the shield.
He was wielding that thing like a pro. But like I said, man, that's one thing in the comics too. Captain America is worthy to wield Mjolnir.
Yes, he is, and he was worthy there too. I was like, this movie just gives you everything. You finally see Spider-Man's instant kill.
And it's like, what does that do? Oh, and all the spider legs come stab everything around him. Stab. And they had that tit for tat fight. Then the greatest scene. Like I said, it kicked all the way up to my favorite battles in movies. It literally, I think it beat Patriot, the final battle in Patriot. Because because it's hopeless. Captain America is standing while the sun's rising. He's like, damn, like he believes this is the
and there's an entire army of Mata.
This is Captain America's looking. This is 0 hour. This is where I die. But I'm gonna make my.
I'm gonna make my stand.
But then all of a sudden it's just,
callback. You hear tap tap. It's like radio static in his ear, and it's Sam. Mm-hmm. It's a Falcon, and he goes on your left.
On your left, and then
from Winter Soldier. That's how they first met. Mm-hmm. On your left. There's so many callbacks in this movie.
There's so many callbacks in this movie, and they all for Wakanda, sorcerers,
the armies the armies of Asgard, all the sorcerers,
Wakandans,
the Wakandan army.
Who else?
Some spaceships. No, I think the Kree, a couple of the Kree armies,
some of the Kree,
the
Ravengers, and that they bring the Hail Mary of Hail Marys, and it turns into literally the Gondor versus Mordor,
dude,
man.
Then
it was awesome.
All I see is an image of, dude, you have to understand, this was the sweeping shot was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
The charging scene?
No, not just the charging scene. That was great, too. And by the way...
They drop it.
By the way, Cap finally says it. Avengers assemble. And I was like, yes! Are you okay? No.
You need to change my pants.
And then, dude, and then there's a sweeping shot where you see fucking Drax jump on the back of the thing and stab it. Yeah. You see fucking you see Giant Man just straight hook a giant fucking him right in the face.
Yeah, that battle.
You see Peppers in her fucking rescue suit.
Yeah,
she's shooting shit back to back with Iron Man shooting shit. And
that was awesome.
Got Valkyrie flying Pegasus, cutting things in the sky.
Guardians going to fucking town with those spears, like the Wakanda, Black Panther jumping
around,
light as a cat and all that shit.
Rocket and Star-Lord,
and Thanos. You know what though? Even though Thanos didn't have to say it, he knew failure. Now he looked at it. That's why when he knew he lost, he didn't fight. He just sat down and went, "That's it. I lost." And that right there. No one, I guarantee no one's going to talk about that. But I'm going to sit there and that is
most of them. No.
Yeah, he wasn't like Joe. He was just like I lost. So he just sat down, just faded away.
By the way,
I skipped ahead again. My bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, the battle ensues. But this is another probably scene where a lot of these.
Wait, hold up. Let's before we skip a part, because this is a part that's going to help out this part too. Mm-hmm. And Thanos is fighting, and next thing you know,
he calls his ship to.
Spider-Man's like Spider-Man. Like, they start playing hot potato with the gauntlet.
They start playing rugby with it.
First, Hawkeye has it, then Black Panther's like, give it to me. And he got it, and he's running with it. And then, eventually, Spider-Man gets it, and he's trying to get away. And then, Thanos corners him. And then, Scarlet Witch shows up.
And she's pissed.
And she wrecks Thanos. In fact, she was about to kill Thanos. Yeah. She was going to kill him. She had him in the air, and she was ripping him apart.
But then he ripped out the Power Stone.
And no. Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch was lifting him up, and she's like, you took everything from me. And he was like,
I don't even know you.
I don't even know who you are. It's like, oh, you will. And she's about to kill him. And then that's when he said, rain hell. He said, rain fire. He's like, our armies, do it. And they just started bombing the
shit out of it because he knew that he couldn't beat them in a one-on-one
fight. Yeah, he's
fight.
Like, we're going to lose this. He's like,
we're going to lose this. And then they're bombarding. They're all like, oh my God.
And then they
sorcerers,
stop.
And then it just stops. Like, huh? They look up, and then the cannons start aiming somewhere else, and they're shooting in the clouds. Like, what is that? And then you see
you hear Tony Stark's AI go, something just entered orbit.
Captain Marvel.
And they're just shooting at her.
And she just goes right through the ship like a bullet, just poof, which they showed off in the movie. It's not like she couldn't do that. She just went right through the ship and crashed it.
Obliterated that ship.
Right through and crashed. But then Thanos, now knows he has to get the gauntlet. Like, there's no other way. So he goes to the gauntlet, he gets it, he puts it on.
Well, they were gonna just send the gauntlet,
and then Captain Marvel fights him.
Well, it seems like what they were gonna do, because they didn't end up doing this, is they were gonna just throw the gauntlet in the time machine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. My bad.
They were gonna just throw it in there and just be like, well, if he can't get to it, then we could just
just take him down.
Yeah, take him down here.
He can't take all of us.
Yeah, he'll have to make his final stand here, so that way he can't erase everyone because there's no stones in this reality.
Yeah, so he's fucked.
Yeah, so as long as
he grew a brain. Well, he was Thanos. He threw part of his blade, destroyed the damn.
Well, because he was trying to actually go at her, because eventually Captain Marvel ends up getting the gauntlet, and with the help of a bunch of the other great powerful women in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, she manages to blast a hole through.
Which I can already hear.
I thought it was. I thought it was
cool.
I thought it was like, we are Marvel. We have so many strong characters. We have
And
so
you know
many
what?
strong
I think
female
though,
characters too.
I wonder if that was just a little bit of a middle finger to some of those fanboys.
Probably.
Just being like, fuck all of you. We can't dude, we got women in here too.
We have powerful,
women.
great women.
Get
in
the
here,
fuck
man.
over it.
Yeah,
and,
man.
And that's the thing too, is like throughout the movie they showed they're powerful men.
Yeah, man.
And then they show they're powerful women too. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like they were the women the whole time. And then the men just get shit on all the time. No, it was like, no, they get their just desserts, which was awesome.
By the way, we're gonna mention just a minor thing, just one minor thing.
We're going full spoilers.
That me and Seth kind of thought was cool was there's a pan shot, kind of going a little bit back, where you see the sun and you see Captain America by himself just standing there. And you see this
overlooking Thanos'
army, and it was such a beautiful shot. I was just like,
that's a poster.
So gorgeous, man.
That is a painting. That is a painting / poster.
That is one man
and that
standing.
I'm a Avengers 0 hour, because that literally would have been their last stand if reinforcements hadn't arrived. So that was awesome.
But getting back to Captain Marvel, yeah, he did Captain Marvel.
She fucking manhandles Thanos.
Yeah, once she got her hand on his hand, and
which was crazy too, is that he was able. Yeah, he popped out the Power Stone real quick, grabbed it. Inflated him fist with and punched her, and that also shows Captain Marvel can't take a hit from an Infinity Stone. Well, she can, but it hurts.
Of course, it's an Infinity Stone. But the thing is, I know people are gonna try to talk. I'm like, no, they establish in this world, if you get your power from an Infinity Stone,
you're OP.
You're a powerful being. You are one of the most powerful beings walking in the universe.
Yep.
If you get your powers from an Infinity Stone, it's because Wanda almost killed him too.
And she has the power of the Mind Stone.
And she has the power of the Mind Stones flowing through her. So I'm like, yeah, if you have the powers of Infinity...
I'm pretty sure has the power of the Space Stone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if Vision was still around with the stone in his head, he could almost kill Thanos too.
Probably.
It doesn't have anything to do about women or man or... No, it makes sense.
And they've built this up. This isn't new.
Yeah.
This isn't new. This isn't something they just added.
But he did slickly get himself out of that situation.
Pretty much.
And then the movie ends with Iron Man snatching the gauntlet.
Yes, he snatches the gauntlet last minute.
Well, he snatches the stone.
He snatches the stones. Puts it in, I guess, like a backup gauntlet, and then he's like, I think, like, shit, man, like, what if I can't remember? Like, what if Thanos says, like, who are you, or something like that?
No, Thanos doesn't. Thanos says no. He says I'm inevitable, because he said that in the beginning. Yeah. In the beginning, he's like, when he was all crusted and stuff, he's like, I'm inevitable. The job is done. And then he said that again. I'm inevitable. Mm-hmm. Stones are gone.
And Iron Man.
And he says, I
am Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
Oof. Erased his entire army and erases Thanos from existence.
And that's when Thanos sits down.
And he sits down. He failed, and that's the one thing he wasn't. I love that, because like I said, he wasn't like crawling after him like, no.
Though I'd say this version of Thanos is a lot more brutal. First of all, they finally got a question answered, because there's a lot of people who, when they were watching Infinity War, they were like, well, how powerful is Thanos really? He had the gauntlet. They're like, how powerful is he without the gauntlet? Because you got to see it. He's powerful enough to straight up kill Thor and probably Captain America and Iron Man
all in one fight
without the gauntlet, just with a sword. He's powerful enough to go toe to toe
with Thor, the God of Thunder.
He's powerful enough to go toe to toe with multiple Avengers and win. So yeah, without the gauntlet,
he's pretty powerful. Yeah. And we saw a little bit of that in Infinity War too, when he just manhandles the Hulk.
Yeah, but you get to see it. So they got they answered so many questions. Yeah, they settled so much shit.
Thanos is dead. He's gone completely. He just sits down and just fades away. But unfortunately, Tony Stark dies because he couldn't. Because
too much power.
It was way too much power, and he used it in that moment to save the entire world. And then you know what? Man, dude,
and it was so sad because Pepper looked at him and she said,
"You can rest now.
It's okay. We'll be okay."
Yeah, we'll be okay.
She handled that so fucking well.
She was still upset, obviously.
But she handled it.
She
handled it with pride.
Yep.
She handled it almost like a warrior. Because I loved it because she broke down after he died.
Yeah,
she didn't want him to be worried.
Yeah,
she didn't want him to be worried.
He was still technically alive.
She didn't want him to be worried. She was like, we'll be fine.
Okay.
We'll be okay. You know how much strength that takes watching someone you love die, and you just
only break down after they're gone.
Because you're like, I'm gonna be strong for them, and that was great. Because I'm gonna be strong for him. We'll be okay. We'll be fine. You can rest. And when he died, she broke down, and it was sad.
That hurt. That hurt. I'm not gonna lie. That definitely hurt. And they had that great send off of like Tony Stark's first arc reactor being,
and then it just made me have flashbacks. Proof that Tony Stark
has a heart.
I don't remember that from so long. I thought it was adorable so long ago, and I thought it was cool so long ago, and
because like Tony was like a semi-hero because it was weird. It was like he wasn't acting like a hero as we would have thought, but now he did. He made the ultimate
is a hero.
The ultimate sacrifice for everybody. But that's the end of this era. And also, oh wait, my bad, we didn't go ahead. Finally, they get all the stones and they return there at a time. That way, no one can touch them again, and then just leave this be. Steve goes back to do this job, but
he does do it,
and he does do it. But he does one thing that Tony told him to do. He said, "You need to live."
Get a life, but I don't think Tony thought. I don't think when Tony said that he meant like go back in time.
No, and that was the most beautiful thing is that he went back in time. They're all like, "What the fuck? He won't come back? I don't get it." And then, but then I was like, "Wait, look." I was thinking like he was seeing like Kane. I don't know why. I was like, "Wait, what? Like, what's that?" I thought he was about to say ready to say Damocles and end it there, but they didn't. But it like really doesn't matter. Steve is sitting there on the bench, old. He's an old man. He's got a wedding band on his finger. He's lived a life, and he said, "I got that wife that Tony said I should get." Right? He took that too literal, like you said, which is kind of funny. And then he passes on the shield to Falcon.
To Falcon, and then like the thing is, it makes so much sense. Falcon has been there by his side since Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
he is his go-to man. He is his number 2.
He trusted him more than anyone. You trust him just as much as Bucky.
Yeah, man,
and that shows him. And even Bucky wasn't bitter about it. He said, he deserves that. Even though they kind of semi-hated each other in the older...
They became... it became one of those relationships. Because they became pretty close, too. I mean, they're about to... By the way, minor spoiler, sort of, kind of, but they're about to get a TV show on the Disney Plus channel called Falcon and Winter Soldier, so it's that this is going to play into it. And I love Steve's line was on Falcon just being like, I'll try my best. Like, I don't know if I can live up
to you,
but I'll try.
And Steve respected that.
And Steve just going, that's why you're getting it. Because I know you'll try your best.
And then he asked him like, what did he do that whole time? He didn't tell him. And then you see this beautiful shot of Steve in like a suburban, I think like the late 40s, early 50s, and he's dancing with Peggy and married to her.
Okay, one more thing we got to hit because we kind of did skip over this part. Thor.
Yeah.
Thor is an interesting character.
But, now that we got to the end of that, now we're going to go into each individual character and kind of talk about what happened to them throughout their journey. But we'll talk about the 4 thirds because that's the biggest fucking one. But I'm going to give I kind of already gave my rating, but I'm going to give it one more time before we move on to that. This movie is a fucking a 10. Legendary.
I'm giving it a 15.
That's not possible, but okay.
Okay, I'm kidding. I am going 10 out of 10.
This movie is a diamond.
It really is.
This movie is the Hope Diamond. This movie,
honestly, if I had to see one, it's one of the greatest movies I've seen. Like I will remember this.
It is. I will remember
this for a while. I feel like if I have children and like grandchildren, I'd be like, man, you don't even know. You don't know. You don't even know. What are you watching?
They probably got Marvel Saga number like 12.
You're like, kid, you don't know. I remember when I saw the first fucking EndGame. You just seen the remake of EndGame.
Pretty much. And it's that whole thing is that like, it's a passing of the torch. And also, we'll talk about that at the end because it fits in the characters. But basically,
and obviously the funeral.
The funeral, like I said, they did kind of the semi-Captain America funeral, but said it was Tony.
It was beautiful. And everyone was there.
Everyone was there.
Even the kid from Iron Man 3, a little grown up.
Yep. And man, that was so, like I said, bittersweet ending. It was sweet, but it was bitter because they did have to make sacrifices. Black Widow made that ultimate sacrifice too. She sacrificed herself to get the stone, and then I love that scene where Wanda even says, like, it was like, man, I just wish I could tell her that we won. I was like, I think she knows. Mm-hmm. I think he knows too.
And they're so close, I mean, oh man, it was
like Vision. So they were so close. So anyway, guys, basically we're gonna kind of make this a little bit shorter because this is about early on in the movie. We're gonna go back to the early part of the movie about each character's like where they were after the 5-year jump.
Well, we kind of hit. No, actually, I feel like we kind of hit
most of it, but we didn't talk about
Thor.
We didn't talk about Thor.
Hit Thor, yeah,
because Thor, it's a long one. His like fall takes a while to talk about.
And I've seen some people kind of mad about Thor's thing.
Why?
Because they're like, "Oh, you're making fun of him. You made my character a joke. You made him a joke." He's just a joke.
He's a fallen god. Like, he's a fallen hero.
What happens when someone who's been told his entire life that you are a hero, you're going to do this.
You're God, you're a warrior, you're a hero, you're this, you're that. And technically, if you want to be technical, he never truly knew true failure. He knew uphill battles, he knew about struggle, he knew about loss, but he never knew true failure.
And he failed twice.
Not only did he fail to get the revenge he wanted for Loki, because
he felt like he didn't go for the head. He feels bad for that too.
Yeah.
He failed because he had to get he had to stroke his ego.
Yep.
He had to tell Thanos, I told you you'll die for that, instead of just chopping his head off or chopping his arm off. But no, he wanted to tell him that.
He wanted to gloat, and like I said, he's failed, and you see that where he's like, they're in New Asgard, and you see him, it's like, yeah, he doesn't come out for like once a month, and when he does, they just point out all these beer kegs, and so they point out all these beer kegs, and you see, oh man, what the two aliens?
Gorg and Meek.
Yeah, Gorg and Meek, they're just playing fucking online games.
Yeah, I played online.
I think they're playing, what, Fortnite or something?
Yeah, playing Fortnite.
Playing Fortnite, which I thought was funny.
It was hilarious. New Master's on. New Master. Thor just grabs a mic.
This is Thor, the God of Thunder. I will rip your arms off and shove them up your butt.
I will fly over. I'll fly over to where you live. I will rip your arms off. I'll climb down that basement, rip your arms off, and shove them up your butt. Oh, that's right. Go cry to your dad, you noob.
Yeah, Thor's fall it made sense.
He's fat. He's got this huge gut.
He's got a gut. He drinks. He stinks. It's just
his hair's all grown
his beard is grown out. He is a mess.
And the thing is, Chris Hemsworth does this amazing thing where you're laughing until you're not.
Well, it's
like
what,
he'll just spread this drama like when like you're laughing at him, and then all of a sudden Bruce was like Thanos. He was like, and he just drama. Don't say that name.
Yeah, we don't see the name around here.
and then later on in the movie, before Bruce got the gauntlet, he's like, let me do something. Let me do something right. Yeah. Like he feels so
responsible.
Like all these characters like all happened to them because they put the weight of the world on their shoulders.
And when they fall, that weight comes down.
That weight falls down on you. The only person who's handling it
was Tony.
Good.
Well, Tony.
I'd say it's probably Cap because Tony got lucky.
Yeah.
He got lucky that Pepper didn't die and that he had something to kind of stabilize him.
His daughter Morgan.
And he had a daughter, so like Tony got stuff, but
and he got I think he got a semi-closure with his dad.
Yeah. Which is a great scene. He talks with his father. He goes back in time and talks with his father.
He talks to Howard.
And it's funny because his dad, he's talking to his dad. And that was a beautiful scene too. And his dad going, I don't know about this kid. He can't even born yet, but I just know I'd do anything for him. And him just saying, and it's just a reflection. A lot of father-son relationships can be like that, where you're so young, you're not fucking thinking about. They're telling you things and you don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. And then when you go back and see your father before he had you, and you realize like, holy shit, man, he's not that different from me. He's just as nervous as I am.
Or I was.
And he's not that bad.
Yeah, but anyway. But Thor's fall was, like I said, hard because he did see his mother again, which was a very sweet scene, too. Mm-hmm. He saw his mother again, they embraced his mother, and she knew immediately. She was like, you're not from this time, but you're still my son.
I was raised by witches, baby, I know.
I know. And the thing is, like, but even though she's from different times, he still embraced her as her son. And then he wants to tell her what happens, like, nope.
You're not here to save me.
You're not here to save me. You're here to save everyone.
Sure, you're a failure.
And you see Jane again, but
for a brief second.
Rocket
runs up,
stabs her, and then it sucks the ether out. Which I'm surprised he had a device that was able to do that. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, outer space. They got devices. They got the orb. They had the. They had the yeah.
It just sucks. You can see like the collector again.
Yeah, that just like you didn't get to see the collector again. But
oh well. But I'll take what I can get. But anyway, but that was another cool scene too. Was that what though?
And she tells him she's like, you failing because you keep trying to be what you should be. You should just be what you are. Instead of being what you should be
what you are.
Be what you are.
He needed that though. He needed I guess he never kind of got that talk from his mom. Because I guess his mom died. Because his mom did die pretty prematurely.
And then he summoned the hammer. He's like, I'm still worthy.
And then he's just like, wait. That was a cool scene too. He's like, and Rocket's like,
I love his face because he's like, I don't know if it's gonna go.
Poof!
Oh, still worthy.
And I think that gave him another bigger pep. He was like, I'm still worthy. And that was that was such a great scene.
Because he probably thought he wasn't worthy anymore.
No, that's probably why he hasn't picked up. Well, he could still pick up Stormbreaker, but I think that that doesn't have that whole.
Yeah, that doesn't have the whole thing on it.
The whole thing on it, but Mjolnir does. Mm-hmm. And that was cool as shit because he was like, grabbed, was like, wait, hold on, takes a minute. Poof!
Yay! By the way, Rocket's great. Like, Rocket doesn't have too many dramatic moments, but he has a bunch of funny bits. Like, there's a bit when they first put the gauntlet together, and like they're just like, boo! Ah!
Boom! And then they're just looking at him like, really? But yeah, no,
of course I would do
this movie hits the highs and the lows really well, and it knows how to balance it. Because, like I said, you're laughing at how goofy Thor is. But it's that awkward laugh. You're laughing at it, but you're like, ha, ha.
I'm not gonna lie.
This is sad. I'm laughing.
This movie, even more than Infinity War, made me go, holy shit, this is the comic book world. Like, when you see Rocket interacting with these earthly beings, and you see Drax, and you see Gamora, and all these people interacting with these earthly beings, and Thor, I'm like, this, like, it blew my mind that I'm not stopping and going, this is weird. This is just the thing. It's just like, cool, yeah. Like, even Black Widow says it. I get emails from a
talking raccoon.
From a talking raccoon. Like,
he's actually not a raccoon. It's just like, well, whatever he is.
He's trash.
He's a trash panda.
He's fucking trash. Like, and I love that's not weird to them anymore. That, like, space and everything is just like, because that's how it is in the comics in DC and Marvel. Like, when this fucking alien comes from space in DC and Marvel, it's like,
most of the time they're like, oh,
it's just fucking alien. You know, it's not that massive of a mind blowing idea.
No.
And the fact that in the MCU in a live action universe that we interact with aliens. No.
Yeah, but I think that pretty much sums it up because Thor was the only one that had a longer fall camera time than anyone else
Thor
did.
had a fall. By the way, I'm gonna make an Easter egg video because there's a bunch of little Easter eggs. I'm gonna just mention one. Rhodey and Captain Marvel are a thing in the comics, and they hint to it heavily. They hint to it very heavily. You know why? Those are the first two people who kind of had a spat. Mm-hmm. Those are the first two people who they looked at each other and had that acknowledgement. There's a couple bits of acknowledgement that kind of made me go, oh, they're gonna go that route with Rhodey and Cap. By the way, she cuts her hair down to comic book Captain America.
I know some people are gonna flip out about that.
That's what she looks like in the comics now. She hasn't had long hair in a while because the way she changed her hair, more tactile, the hair getting in the way and shit when you flying out of space and stuff. Yeah. She didn't cut it because I want to cut it. She's like, no, it's just tactical.
I'm a man. But it's like no. But man, that's we're probably missing some tidbits here and there. Oh, the signatures.
Yeah, the artists, after the little credit, you got to see the signatures, and it was like the
final farewell,
the six, as they call it, the OG6. Mm-hmm. They have tattoos. All the six have these awesome looking tattoos that says OG6. It's got the Avengers logo on it.
They're the original six, and they are the. But it was so. Sorry, I'm a little choked on something there. It was such an artist moment, like an artist signing his work. Mm-hmm. And it was a final farewell. It was a final farewell to all the fans who have been through there so long. And like I said, the Avengers and all the cast members have been so good to fans. Like they've done Make-A-Wish, they've done charities, they've met so people. Much. They seem so nice when they talk to people.
It's so beautiful. You know what? And I'm so happy for Robert Downey Jr. In 2007, Robert Downey Jr. was on drugs, was in prison, was fired, was on a basket case, couldn't get his life together, who knows what would happen if Iron Man wouldn't have worked out?
Yeah,
he got his life together. He became a better man. It's one of the things. The artist, the person reflected the art. He was Iron Man. He was someone trying to be Tony better. Stark. He was literally, in real life, someone trying to be a better man than who he was. Mm-hmm. And it reflected in his character.
Yeah, like, I'm going to miss
I don't know how you replace him. And maybe decades from now, when I'm like 50, they'll be like, well, okay, let's recast Iron Man.
Well, they got Pepper, and they do have, and Morgan's there, so they could do a time jump.
I got a gut feeling, because there is Ironheart in the comics, but I think they're gonna just make it Morgan. I think they're gonna just make Ironheart Morgan. I think Morgan's gonna be like super smart.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be like 4 years, years now from now, like when Spider-Man 3, because Spider-Man Far From Home comes out in July, I'm gonna say. It doesn't come out too far from now, like a couple months from now. Mm-hmm. And so by the time the next Avengers or anything happens, that little girl would have grown up to be about, because she's 5 now, she's supposed to be like 6 now. So that little girl probably grew up to be about like 11. By the time she's about 11, they probably gonna be able to cast somebody older and start to play up the idea of the prodigy of Tony Stark.
Pretty much, but literally, guys, that was Endgame. What a great finale to a saga. Fantastic. And
I feel like it was a generational thing. I'm like, this is how I felt Star Wars must have been to
back then.
Or Lord of the Rings. Like I feel like it. Like I feel like
this movie had did one thing that no other movie had done since Return of the King. I felt legit when Return of the King ended. I cried because I was like, that's it. That the story is over.
There'll be more. The book is done.
Well, this book,
the Infinity Saga,
is done. And I know that Marvel isn't done. I understand that.
There'll be something.
But the book is done.
It's a 22. Basically, it's a 22 chapter book.
Yeah, and it's over.
And each chapter was a movie.
And it's over. And I kind of now understand why. I kind of now get Game of Thrones people now. This is how they're feeling right now. The end of Game of Thrones, because they've read the books, they've been through the entire show and all that. I get it. I understand that now. And this movie now is now in my top 5 movies of all time, because mainly because of the fact it made me feel the way I felt after Return of the King. And no other movie besides that was able to do that for me. None.
This movie's a work of art, man.
This movie is art.
It is. And it's going to be sad. I don't know how Marvel tops themselves. Me and you talked about this. I love Marvel, and I can't wait to see what they do in the future. But I don't know how to top this, except to go smaller.
What, though? I think that this was, like one was a generational thing. Our generation, you and I grew up with this, or we spent most of our younger life, like watching this and growing up with this, and now it's one of those, like, brighter futures. It was like it's like we finished out a phase of our lives. And now we're moving on to the next phase. It does feel
like a part of my life is different now. Like, that part of me is gone. Like, I can always go back and watch them and, always do it again. But
and for nostalgia and all that stuff.
But it's done. The build is
over.
It's over.
Like, all that is over. And you know what? It's such a great ending to it. It didn't treat it like shit. It didn't do it like, man, I got like gas. But it didn't do it like any other movie would have done. It would have just made some weird, stupid, like, cliffhanger ending. No, it was like, no. Theoretically, if you stop watching Marvel from here on out, you could have ended it.
Like, you could end it right here.
And you could end it right here and call it a day.
And you're good.
And that's the one. That's what I love about this. It's like, it sets up the future for more, because they did say, like, beautifully. But also, if you just say, you know what, I think that I'm going to call it here and never watch a Marvel movie again. I'm done with it. I'm just saying, maybe there'll be, I don't know if there's anyone out there like this. But I could see, and you know what? You could sit there and go, you know what? You could do that, and you wouldn't have to really miss out on much.
Just be like, well, right now I think Marvel's going to try to be like, okay, hop on this new wave. Whatever we're building to now.
Yeah, you want to, and you and I are definitely going to, like, look at it, obviously.
Yeah, we're going to like, hop on this new wave.
But that's another thing, too, is that they did it for the people who say, I'm done with Marvel. I'm done. I've been through this train for over 12 years. I'm out. But they did it for other people like us who want to keep going. Basically, it just
set up the future.
The train has arrived at the station, and
it's not a coincidence that the 3 people who supported Captain Marvel the most in this movie, the 4 people, are all the original Avengers. Tony supported him, Cap backed her, Black Widow backed her, Thor liked her. So it's not a coincidence that all of them, and all the people who will be in the forefront from here on out had moments. Doctor Strange is going to be in the forefront. Spider-Man is going to be in the forefront. Black Panther is going to be in the forefront. And obviously Captain Marvel. And now you got a new Captain America. Like, they set up so much stuff.
And like I said, and it's so great for us because we want to keep going, but it'd be so cool for people who just stop, because that's it for them. Like, this is the end of their series, and they can take that for whatever it is.
Now, I'm gonna shout out Spider-Man Far From Home, because Spider-Man Far From Home has been confirmed that it will show the aftermath of all the people coming back too.
Oh yeah.
So watch Spider-Man Far. If you're more curious about, if you go this and you loved it, and like we did, if you're more curious, Spider-Man Far From Home just went up a bit. I was already kind of anticipating it, but now that I know, it's like, oh no, this takes place afterwards.
Yep.
You get to see stuff. Peter deal with the death of his mentor.
Damn, I'm starting to choke up a little bit thinking about this. I'm sorry. I'm getting emotional. But anyway, guys, I give this movie a 10 out of 10.
I give it a 10 out of 10 too.
This is now in my top 10 movies of all time. I think this cracked the top 5.
To me, it's a masterpiece, man.
This movie is a masterpiece.
I loved it.
Comic book movie and movie.
This is one of the greatest comic book movies. It might be the greatest comic book movie of all time.
No, greatest comic book movie of all time, definitely. Greatest movie of all time, it's definitely on the top 10 list.
To me, it's a top 10. It's one of the greatest.
This movie is a work of art. It's a masterpiece. Please.
It's getting a lot of money.
Watch it.
But all the money is getting in enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, so please, we beg you, watch it. Because it is a roller coaster, and you will have every ounce of fun.
It's 3 hours, but trust me,
you won't feel the urine. Don't believe me, we didn't. Until afterwards.
It doesn't feel like it because it's just going,
And we saw in 3D too. And I think the 3D experience was... I didn't think the 3D experience was all that bad. That's how you do 3D. It's not super flashy. It's not super fast in your face. It's perfectly paced.
One time I noticed it was in the snowflakes, because you can kind of see the snowflakes kind of like...
But anyway, but I think that... Yeah, but... That wasn't a shitty 3D movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, see it in 3D or 2D. It's probably good in both. It's
Good in
definitely
both.
good in
Yeah. I've watched 2D and 3D. It was good in both.
So anyway, guys, that's the end of phase 1. That's the end of
Phase 3.
That is the end of phase 3.
That is the end of the Infinity Saga.
Our prediction. We'll make a quick
Closing
prediction.
the book.
I'm gonna make a quick. Well, me and Deshaun pretty much have made our prediction that it's gonna be Kane.
Well, the villain of the next is going to be Kane because they time traveled, so I can definitely see. And
I could definitely see Kane being.
some of the things they've done have to have splintered off,
enough to where
alternate dimension.
to get Kane's attention.
To get Kane's attention and him to be like, okay, I gotta go,
like figure out what's going
figure
on.
out what's going on.
And that would be, like I said, like Kane has become one of my new favorite Marvel villains because one, the Roman Empire references. He's not like an Omega level being per se,
But he's got this super ridiculous technology.
yeah, he's got all this ridiculous. It makes it look like he's like this Omega level powered being, which is awesome. But I can't wait. I cannot wait for the next saga. The saga was a beautiful close to it, passing the torch to the next generation.
And the thing is, what makes it so beautiful, they just bought Fox. They got the X-Men and the Fantastic
They got the X-Men
Four.
back and the Fantastic Four. That means that means also later on they could do villains like Galactus.
They still have fuel left in the tank.
They still have fuel left. They could do Galactus. They can.
And honestly, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, they're gonna be done for a while. But I'm gonna just tell you this right now: they're not done for good.
Yeah, they might come back.
They're probably gonna it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be maybe 10 years, maybe 10, 12 years from now, and you're gonna forget about it. You're not even gonna think about it, and they're gonna come back for something. I don't know what. I don't know when. Maybe 10, 12 years from now.
We'll see. Definitely, we'll see.
They'll come back.
I can't wait. Anyway, guys, that was in Avengers EndGame.
Yeah.
This video took a really long time, but
I haven't seen a spoiler review of this movie that hasn't taken this long. Honestly,
like I said, there's so much in there, but we also encourage you to just go out and see it. Just go out. Don't even watch this video. Just go out and see it first, please, because it's just like we like. Please don't ruin yourself through us, because it's such a roller coaster ride of emotion, of badassery, and just depression, a good and a bad depression. Because like I said, I'm still a little choked. I'm telling you what, for all of you fantasy fans, for all you fantasy fans who saw the end of Return of the King, you know what I'm talking about. You will understand what I'm talking about with this one. If you've been following Marvel as long as me and Deshaun have. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us on
Comic Gamer Movie Show.
And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of us in the future. And we shall see you
on the next one.
Goodbye.
Avengers Assemble.